But I digress, and I stay digressing. We on the Half Baked Podcast with your girl Jules, holding it down, giving you commentary straight off the top, straight off the dome. And that's why we call it Half Baked around here, because it's off the dome. Yes, some research goes into this shit. Research from passing, research from life, research from all that jazz. Hey, I paid my dues. Your girl went to university. So, and the beautiful part about it is that she did a social science. Although it was in the Department of Humanities and Education, I consider it a social science because what I studied was linguistics. And linguistics it deals with people, right? It's the basis of how people communicate, but from a scientific perspective, it analyzes this phenomenon where, we so accustomed to using a language, right? We don't understand just how wild it is that we have essentially put meaning to sounds that we make. It's like if we didn't have lungs, we didn't have lips, we didn't have a tongue, maybe just slapping your knee would have been a word, and we would pay more attention to the sound of a slap to the skin versus like here might be another word, this is another word. Like, it's all arbitrary. But us as humanity, we created a system out of that. And actually, that's a lot of what I want to talk about today. How us as humans, the humanity aspect, we create systems out of things. We create arbitrary systems. There's nothing that ever suggests that something has to be this way. That's why we have French, that's why we have German, that's why we have Japanese. English is not the one size fits all. The phenomenon of communicating, wanting to communicate is there, but we see different iterations of that, whether it's through sign language. Oh shit, I was doing this and then we got sign language already. But you see how innovative that is, right? But we create systems out of it, and we see different iterations of the need to communicate, the want to communicate with each other. And I think we don't set aside time to study the systems that we live by. So that's the theme of this whole situation, what I want to talk about on the Half Baked Podcast today. So yeah, quick quick aside, your girl kind of changed up the vibe. The vibe has been changed a little bit. I feel like there's good energy here, I think, and I don't know, just sitting down here not rambling, let me not do that to myself, but talking to you guys. I feel more at peace in this space, and therefore I hope that also transfers to you too, to everybody that's listening. I hope that, everything's been going well for you as much as it can be, because we're living in some real fucked up times. But that's the crazy part, the time's always been fucked up. It's just how attuned are you to how the systems work. So let me not talk too ambiguously. Let's really dive in. The first thing that on my mind is what's been going on with Palestine. To get my tea because I had a little sick. But yeah, this situation has been going on with Palestine versus Israel. It's crazy. It's crazy, it's crazy, it's crazy. And let me put it right out there, right the fuck no. Without hesitation, I am pro-Palestine all of the way because I am pro-humanity. I am pro-humans being able to live. So, one thing that if you can even frame it this way, but the only good thing to come out of this conflict is people finally, or to some extent there is analytical thought among the masses, or it appears that way on social media. Here's hoping. Actually, I can't even say that. It's not just people tweeting or being on Instagram. We're seeing protests. Where was it? London had a protest with more than 500,000 demonstrators. That's almost double Barbados's population. 500,000 people came out in support of Palestine. And in that, if you support Palestine, then you denounce Israel, right? Or at least you should. I think that those things are kind of like this, isn't it? It's like, it's equal. Oops. It's my speaker. But, yeah. If you're pro-Palestine, then you are totally against what Israel is doing, as well as the ideology of it all in a whole. So I think we need to dive in before we tackle that, in terms of giving, before we do any kind of analysis. We need to understand what it is that we're analyzing to begin with. So just like many people, I've only recently started paying attention. That may be the fault of me, but I always say that you can't know what you don't know, right? There's no way for you to know something or to be like, I should have, I could have, without knowing what to have to be like. How can you express regret about something you just didn't know, right? In order to know, you have to know. So I can't Google Palestine if it's never been introduced to me. What would cause that word to pop up in my head if I've never even, come across it? And so we have to kind of analyze through that. Why is this the first time for a lot of people, for most people, why is this the first time that we are confronting what is happening in Palestine? I don't necessarily think it is the fault of the persons that are now learning about it. I think it speaks, or it is evidence of the systems that we live by. Systems that media, for example, media period, because that's mainly how, that is how information is disseminated. It's through media. And mainstream media, it may have talked about Palestine, it may have talked about Israel, but the framing of it has always been as if to advocate for Israel. Not only that, but to insinuate its significance, whereas there's no significance to it, really and truly. It wasn't significant enough for me and for, hundreds of thousands, millions of people to really investigate what the situation was. And I think it is the framing of the media. We have had a lot going on. We've had COVID, right? We've had what has been coming to light. You see, everything is a matter of coming to light. The violent racism that we find in America, George Floyd dying, these were all events that happened kind of recently. And I mean, I can't even say that, because this conflict between Israel and Palestine has been happening since, the 1940s? Since that time. And for some reason, that's a cop-out. Our attention has been funneled into other aspects, into other things, into bullshit or other pertinent issues. So, for one, what I personally would like to advocate is that it's not your fault if you now learning about some atrocity that has been happening since the 1940s, where Israel, from what I can understand, due to the Holocaust, Zionists, due to the Holocaust, Jews, due to the Holocaust, what happened, what's not, Britain, she decided that Jews deserve a place after the atrocities that they've experienced. They deserve a safe space. And this was decided it was going to be Israel. But the issue is that a group of people already lived there. And that's the Palestinian people. So here we have a piece of paper saying that if you are born this way, if you are a part of this ethnic group, this religious group, because it is both, if you're part of this ethnic group and religious group, you have the right to move in to what is going to be Israel. But how can you build upon something that has already been built upon, that is owned by a group of people? So for one, is audacity right off the bat. You just right off the bat, you just decide, hey, we don't give a fuck. Whoever did, we could just, we've done it for millennia. for so long we've done it. It ain't no thing to just get into a land and tell the people that live there, yo, get the fuck out. So we see European white ideology already permeating into this space where unless you pale like this, if you pale like this, you could go and wreak havoc wherever the fuck you feel like wreaking it, because you got a piece of a paper. It's said, the saying, what is it? The pen is mightier than the sword. That's what this is. That's what this is. That's what this is. That's what that saying means. A piece of a paper, a negotiation between groups has come and decided this belongs to this group of people, and we can use the weapons to do it. And then the pen comes back into effect with the media. How the media frames this. They have a right to claim Israel and to push out the Palestinian people. The pen comes in again. The pen writes the narrative. So these people have been dealing with these atrocities for decades. It's to the point where I have my phone here. I just want to make sure that I say this correctly. So the Nakba happened in 1948. And in Nakba, what happened is that the Palestinians were, I don't even want to say we're told to leave. They were not told to leave. It wasn't like, hey guys, could you leave please? And they were like, sure. It's not told. They were displaced. They were displaced. They were demolished. Violence was enacted upon these groups of people, upon the Palestinians, by these Zionists. And they were forced to leave their homes. Now, it would seem, like I said, I do research, but my research is not great. That really and truly, this is an ongoing process. So it started in 1948 and concluded there. It's an ongoing process of trying to displace these people, to displace the Palestinians. Because I don't want to say these people. I want to make it clear who. And displaced by Israelites, whatever you want to call that shit. That's another point that I want to get into, because I talked about being a linguist, and language is important. It's a social construct, social science to it, and linguistics doesn't necessarily deal with communication in and of itself, but communication has been mightier than the sword in this whole situation. But yeah, since 1948 this has been happening, and only on October 7th have we been, from October, we have been opening our eyes to the situation. And again, the concept of opening eyes, as if our eyes were closed. No, our eyes are open, but we are heavily brainwashed by the media. Let's dive into that. Communication, the language of it all. When you say something like Israelis were killed, and then you say something like Palestinians have died, one might look at that and come to the conclusion that they both have the same kind of meaning. But it denotes, it connotates different instances. I could die of cancer. I could die of drowning. But you don't say I died of murder. You don't say I died of explosions. You don't say I died of, I didn't die by getting killed. right? So to die has two layers to it. We understand the process of death, and to be killed and to die leads to death, but the connotation of the language of the words present different elements. So to die, right? One, it's softer, and usually if someone has died, you always assume it is a factor that is non-violent, right? If my aunt died, my cousin come and tell me, yeah, my mom died. I'm like, what happened? You assume it's health related off the bat. You assume it's something to do with any number of things, right? That is non-violent. The second aspect of that word is the fact that there is no I can't remember the specific term for it, but there's no one carrying out the act, right? It's something that is, you receive it. You don't do it. You don't do it to someone. That person just dies. It's like an adjective. It's just kind of like an adjective. It's descriptive, right? It's descriptive of a state of being. Kill, on the other hand, to be killed, on the other hand, we already know is violent. And then right after that, someone did it. To have been killed, you're not killed but yourself, right? Someone kills you. Someone has to do it. So it insinuates victimhood. You're a victim when you're killed. So the way that the media presents this information has been very skewed. The pen is mightier than the sword. So, understanding those two words, it's always Palestinians have died. No one has killed them. It's non-violent. That's the first thing you think. Israelis have been killed. Immediately you think violence. You think someone did it. And then when you frame it as a war, boom. If it's a war and the Israel's getting killed, that means that the Palestinians have been doing it. You see how that works? So language has been dictating, or language has been a tool to dictate, or to kind of lead the general opinion of what's going on. So in research, seeing like a couple years ago, it did come up, the Israel versus Palestine situation, and the way that it was framed very much like, guys, let's not pick sides. How is one able to do that? How is one able to say, I will not pick this side, I will not pick that side, or despite how I feel politically, I'm gonna stay neutral in this. This is a genocide. And what's funny is that it's being framed as a war. It's being framed as a war. Let's see if Google is going to be helpful. I just Googled war and instantly everything is Gaza, war and Gaza, and this war, Hamas, Israel, Hamas. 1 second. I just trying to make sure. There's no way he just said that. Look, let me not look. Okay, we're done. War is generally between two states, two governments, right? And these two states, two governments, because it ain't ever the people in the government that fighting the goddamn war. They get whatever soldiers through whatever means, through the military, drafting or incentivizing, whatever the fuck the word is, whatever have you. Like how the U.S. military, they got, you could go to the school for free. High, amazing benefits, health insurance, you get paid if you got kids, and all this. You could travel free on different bases all around the world. That's incentives right there. Then you got drafting, which you just like South Korea. Every single man has to do military service. That has no choice. So yeah, different ways to do it, right? But regardless, between two governments, right? This is not war. This is not war. The Palestinians have really no government. It's the Israelis who have been governing their area. I don't want to call it a state. Their area. So the Israelis decide when they decide the electricity, the water sources, the food sources, whatever comes in, whatever goes out has to go through Israeli scrutiny, right? That's why they were able to turn off the electricity on these people just recently, turn off the internet on these people just recently, because they have the power over these people. They don't have a government. They don't have no self-determination. They don't have any agency, right? So they turn off all of these things to then go in and kill them. Now they like to frame Hamas, which is this militant group that has been birthed out of this conflict, and that is important to note. It has been birthed out of this conflict. Hamas did not pop up one day and just decide to kill this and kill that and whatever happened. It was birthed out of this conflict. And why it was birthed was through self-defense. Self-defense. Defense of self. A group of people that say, listen, I can't take this no more. You displaced my ancestors. You displaced my grandparents. You displaced every fucking body. And now you want to destroy the rest. And also to know the population, I can't remember the exact figure, but majority of Palestinians are 18 or younger. So these kids have decided to protect their loved ones. That's how I'm framing it. Absolutely. Because Israel has been coming in, and I watched there's this guy, he's an advocate in an activist in America for Puerto Rico and black people, all that stuff. And he went to Palestine to have that Palestinian experience. I can't remember which year he went to, but it was before October, right? He talked about how Palestinian people, they had like markets and stuff and in the streets, and the Israelis, they own the buildings, I suppose, and they will just dump garbage on the markets all the time, over and over and over. Everywhere is a checkpoint. Everywhere is, you got security cameras everywhere. You got a tower with a sniper just there, just, you know. And even the Israelis, the military, for them, it's just a bunch of kids as well. And he talked about how they would go into, you know, the Palestinian areas, the Gaza and West Bank, and these encampments, right? I don't even know if you want to call it neighborhoods. And, you know, like a military would, well, we are told anyway, would have their own grounds, ranges to practice shooting, to practice this, to practice that. They go into these encampments and practice. They throw the grenades, the smoke grenades, all that shit in there with the people, and using these people as targets. And this was normal. Palestinians constantly being harassed, all that. They have been subjected to so much bullshit for decades. And now having so many people killed, like, this is just their life. Death is their life. They go and they stand up for themselves, and now the media, Israel, US government, Canadian government, fucking Japanese government, every fucking government using Hamas as the excuse for why they're doing what they're doing, when they've been doing what they're doing all this time. It makes you think. Does it make you think? Because it should. These conflicts have been funded by all these imperial countries, America, you know, Britain, all these places have been funding these conflicts. And then use whenever they defend themselves, use the defense to tell us that was the problem all along. That's why you need to study history. And I've come to realize that history needs to be compulsory. It needs to be compulsory. Because then you see that things don't add up. Things ain't adding up. The media can never tell you that it's because of Hamas, that Israel bombing shit, when you know that in 1948 they have been doing this shit from then. Then you could understand that the US is funding this for its own motives, its own reasons. And that's why Biden can come up on the stage and say that Israel has a right to defend itself. Has nothing to do with defense. Has nothing to do with defense. It has everything to do with their motives. And they're trying to tell us where it started. But it ain't start October, it ain't start in 2023, it ain't start in 2022, it ain't start in 2019, it ain't start in 2000, it start in 1948. Wait. It started in 1948. You know learning about it. I know learning about it. We know learning about it. But the good thing is, the only good thing is, if it's a good thing, is that we finally seeing words have meaning. And that the pen is mightier than the sword. We have been lied to this entire time. So what else have we been lied to about? This is one of the tools that they use to guide our thinking. And even in observing the history, you gotta observe the history from more than one source, because history is not fact. History is ain't fiction either, but history is not a matter of fact versus myth per se. It is about account versus account versus account. It is about what is put in writing and what evidence has been left behind, and also the analysis of the historian. Is all these variables that go into the text. So you cannot look at one author, or if you can look at one author, you better try and figure out what the fuck he or she or them was their background. Because it's the same history books that you had to sit through. You had to sit through in Barbados, in Jamaica, Grenada, America, every fucking where. We had to sit through and we had to learn that Christopher Columbus discovered the New World. It's them same history books. Them same history books. Language. Christopher Columbus discovered the New World was the implication. Nobody else did it. Even when the other people were there. So what is the insinuation of that? These people that were there were lesser than the people that come with Christopher Columbus, and that's why he could do what he did. Same thing in this conflict. We love to think too in history that history is like this one-off type situation. It concluded, is a concluded story. Yeah, hippie, we're not living in that anymore. Bitch, history continues. We living in history right fucking now, in a moment, that present art is the future. We constantly living in history, constantly, and no system has ended. It's only been reformed. I'm telling you, no system has ended. Has only been reformed. Slavery was reformed to capitalism. I'm telling you. I'm fucking telling you. Exploitation is the underbelly of the beast. Within slavery, within imperialism, within all this shit, is just reform of exploitation. We are still living in these systems that have been reformed. And the way language is being used against us is why we cannot do anything about it, or at least one of the few reasons. So what I'm trying to say is critical thinking. Have a radical mindset. And when we talk about having a radical mindset, what we mean is question every fucking thing. Radical mindset don't mean to burn down everything in the world, don't mean to throw a Molotov, don't mean to cause havoc. That in and of itself is the media painting a particular picture of what radicalism is. Radicalism is not any of those things. Do not let Hollywood, don't let movies tell you what a radical is. Radical is somebody who questions every fucking thing. So question, why would they want to say that Christopher Columbus discovered these places? Think about why that is the start of our history. Why? I'm bringing this back to Barbados. Think about why we don't even learn really and truly about Barbadian history like that. I had to find out that there were rebellion, protests, all these things that was happening way after slavery, while we in a capitalism world, and we dealing with all this extra bullshit. Barbadians was in the streets fucking shit up to get their rights. I had to learn about that in university. Never learned it in secondary school in my life. But I learned about some white man in England. Why? sorry, I got a cold. I try not to sniffle and clear my throat, but you got to ask why. I don't know how true it is, because everything is misinformation too. Like, you have to be careful. It's not just in social media. Misinformation is not just in social media. Misinformation is every single where. Beloved, it is every single where. Now, bringing it back to Barbados, what does the genocide of Palestinians by Israel mean for Barbadians? I know some of y'all might be telling y'all, so, oh, this ain't got shit to do with me, sweet girl. So wait for it, I gotta give a fuck. I will argue it got everything to do with you. And it got everything to do with you, especially as somebody that live in Barbados. Because chances are you black. Chances are you are black. And if you ain't, maybe this not for you right now. You could clock out. You could clock out. We not taught you. One, as Barbadians and as black Barbadians, right? We are descendants of displaced people. We are descendants of displaced people. Specifically, we are descendants of displaced African people, which means we have inherited that title of being displaced Africans. We're not supposed to be in Barbados. That wasn't the end. That wasn't the chapter that was supposed to be written. We wasn't supposed to be in Barbados. We were supposed to be in Africa, chilling, brother. We were supposed to be vibing. We were displaced. And then once slavery was not as lucrative as it used to be, we got displaced again. England was like, well, shit. We get all the resources we could to build. We train. We little railways to develop into a first world country from this third world country. It's time to ship out. We got capitalism now. Perfect. We can exploit every fucking buddy. We can exploit everybody now. They shipped out, left us with diabetes, left us in chattel houses, left us with a diet that causes so much communicable diseases, left us with barely any fucking political power to be self-determinant. Left us to fend for ourselves. And don't get me wrong, we ain't do too bad. We ain't do too bad. But we struggling. And I know y'all could feel it. And I could promise you one thing. It don't matter what government in. Government could have been Superman. Government could be, I don't know who. Somebody amazing. Still would be in the same shit. Cost of living would still be bare shite. You go out eat fucking pig for every day, morning and night. I used to buy chicken steppers for my dog. Call black for move out of Barbados. I ain't gonna buy that for myself though. Put some curry upon that. I said catch up. I bought a little rice. That way you go do live in Barbados, no boy. I save money. I try to buy a house. I try to buy a car. Bitch. Don't try to buy some chicken steppers. But what I'm trying to tell you is this is the inevitability of the exploitative system. Barbados has always been the exploited. Always has been. So the only thing you could really do is be an exploiter in order to get more money. But Barbados just ain't quite like that. She ain't quite like that. Cause all she resources get that way. Not she really have much to begin with. So I think that we, at the very minimum, should be observing, taking notes of what the fuck is going on with Palestinian people, because that's exactly what happened to us. Exactly what happened to us. And we need to compare, we need to contrast, and we need to glean something useful from it, to see what imperialism is, to understand where you are in this system, to understand that as displaced people, we don't really got much of a say. Listen, people run away from Barbados to go into first world countries, right? And once you do that, you realize that Barbados is a place of hand-me-downs. Hand-me-downs in clothes, hand-me-downs in food products, hand-me-downs in medicine, hand-me-downs. It's trickled down to Barbados. I see, when I go back home, I see so much things that have been phased out in these first world countries that we still have. And it led me to believe, and I don't have the evidence really and truly, but I can't see it in any other way, that these companies just kind of use whatever product they don't want anymore in these countries that they don't give a fuck about, but they could make some money off of. There's a reason why Latin America, and this is kind of an aside, but there's a reason why Latin America, we are placed in that fucking diaspora, that grouping, for whatever reason, when it comes to marketing, when it comes to being supplied services. A lot of our shit get changed to Spanish. Why? Because there's no consideration for us, because there's no profit to make from us. That's why Mia and she goons, or whoever you want to call them, is God be kissing ass to these countries. Like, please, I beg, give me a little thing, please. Can I get a crumb? And every politician before and every politician after the fact, I'm gonna have to do the same shit. We gotta bow down to these first world countries for something. I guess to Mia and others, China is that. I need to study China's history, because the communism that was birthed out of Maoism, I don't know, that shit ain't quite seeing in 2023. I don't know what the fuck that is, but that's besides the point. My point is that we're displaced people, and we don't got airstrikes on us. You know, our houses aren't destroyed. But what they intend to do with Palestinians is what they have done to us. Look, go crossing on our little piece of island right there, build you 2 chattel houses, and go along with your business. No real consideration for us when it comes to, for example, climate change. We is the people that just feel it the most. Them is caused the most climate change, and then we just feel it. So Mia going up to the UN, I said, right, she good little speech or whatever. I said, please, please think about us. And they just like, bitch, we got trains to run. We got people to exploit. We got farms. We got multi-billion, dollar industries to run, girl. We ain't got time to care about how y'all people dying. But she know it too. Let me just say, she know ain't shit she could do. Which is a point that I wanted to get into. I don't know who ready to hear this, because not many are, and that's fine. But what I wanted to talk about was reparations. Reparations for us, and politicians. So what I would like to say, right? One thing that I would love to say too, and also to conclude I would like to conclude more gracefully from the Palestine genocide, the ongoing Nakba. These people need support. And truthfully, I have no idea how to support them, because I'm skeptical of everything. America is gonna say it pledges 100 million, was it 10 million? I think 100 million to Palestinian people, Palestinian aid, right? But we have to think critically once again. What does that mean? One, what does aid mean? Right? You say it's 100 million in aid. In what capacity? Like what is, if we have the pie chart, 50% going to what? 25% going to what? 10% going to what? Another 10% going to what? 5% going to what? What is it going to? Then what is the channels to make sure that is being put out there? And then how is it distributed? There are instances, there are instances where there is aid to be sent to this group of people or that group of people, and then it's actually that some old white man got a fucking warehouse of unwanted products, of expired products, expired food, expired all this shit, and then like, yeah, we need to get this out and throw it to these poor people. Look it up. Unfortunately, I ain't got no certain source. Yeah, I ain't got no source. But I'm dead ass. I've read on this. What is the aid? Even if you don't believe me, ask the question. What is the aid? Exactly. What is it? Is it X-ray machines? Is it spam? Is it apples? What is the aid? And then once again, because as I said before, Israel is who decides what goes in and what goes out of the country. If that is so, what are the channels that will allow this aid to go to the people? Is it private companies? Is it Israeli government? What is it? And if it's Israel, what they fucking on it? Them taking some for themselves? Them contaminating it? Them doing this, them doing that? We ain't know. We not there. We do not know. We don't know. We don't know. So what's with the aid? And then finally, how is it being distributed? So once again, Israel getting tech piece? Are he telling? Israel getting tech piece? Then after that, who? It only gets a this discount right there. and then the next count now, or again to that count, and then they get blow up the next day. You understand? So them got these cute little headlines. Oh yes, we're gonna give aid. How? How? What is the aid? Etc. 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 Keep asking these questions. So, bro, I honestly, like, I 100% believe, 100% believe it didn't matter who was sitting down as the president of the United States. It could have been Barack, it could have been Kennedy, it could have been fucking George Washington, it could have been Abraham Lincoln, it could have been me, it couldn't have been me, because I can't be president. Not with my brain, not with this, not with what I talking about right now, not with none of this. I already get excluded. You know, I could be president, no. But, you know, my grandmother, rest she soul, my mother, my father, rest he soul, my teacher, nursery teacher, whoever was gonna be raw soul president would have been the same fucking thing. But except the only thing that fuck up is that Biden ain't a good, he ain't figure out this propaganda thing yet. He ain't figure it out. He ain't figure out how to do this. Barack Obama, even out his PM, why he was doing drone strikes all over the place, killing all sorts of innocent people, and we didn't give a shit. We didn't think about it. We didn't. Black president, he black, he's sweet. He black and he berry sweet as juice. That's all we thinking about. This all white man, he can't do it. He can't do it. He ain't got enough distractions. Trump had distractions too. Trump had distractions. He both there being a jackass all day, all night. But they, any man can't do America that we ain't thinking about, we ain't talking about. We just talking about how Trump is a racist. But Biden just Biden. That's the problem. That's the problem. He needs swagger or he needs racism. He needs one of the two. That's how it works. But my whole point in this is the objective is the same, because imperialism is about control, it's about expansion, it's about this and that and next. So the US, you know, for oil purposes, for this or that, that's why them in these streets. That's why they're so invested. That's why they don't want to vote for a ceasefire. They just can't. And it no matter how many countries vote for this shit, because these votes have been going on for, again, decades. As long as the US say, nah, everybody else got vote. Or at least that's been the trend. But at the end of the day, the government, in my opinion, in my observation, in my readings, in my, research, the government is just what a system that's been put in place where the masses can place blame onto about their frustrations, where the masses could feel like they can enact change, where the masses could feel like they're doing something. 500,000 people in London, and what that change? What that change? What that change? The government is not for the people. The government is for a certain type of people, but it's not for us. So, people that are interested in wealth, who got the wealth, all that shit, does lobby, does decide who can be their puppets every 5 years, and then the same thing is continue on, which is why the Democratic Party look Republican right now, because that's just what it is. Is a puppet show. It's a puppet show. It's a puppet show. So I want us to understand. I want us to deeply understand that the government can't really do anything. They don't do anything. Not really. Not the way that you think. So, all these strikes still going on, protests after protests, all these strikes still going on, because that's just where the interests are. So now going back to our, finally in closing, I don't know what's going to stop this, because from what I read, Biden said there's going to be a pause, not ceasefire, but a pause. And I think that that's really just what is going to be. It's going to, okay, we realize that this propaganda is not working. This strategy of trying to get the the general public to be on Israel's side is not working. Let's pause this right now and try to figure out what we need to do in order to be right in this situation, in order for us to look at the good guys in this situation. What is it that we need to do? So again, we're reforming, but it's still going to be the same genocide. I don't see how it's going to stop. And I really, it hurts to say that. It hurts to say that, because these are literal people like me and you who are dying every single day from the start of this podcast. All know as I'm speaking, people are dying. People are homeless. People are hungry. People hurting. People missing limbs. People missing families. Oh no, right now. And it hurts to say that. I do not think anything is gonna happen. Anything's gonna change that. They're gonna pause it. Try to figure out another way to do it. I think the only way to stop that is if the people go beyond protest. I think that's the only way, that people go beyond protest. I ain't gonna quantify it any further than that. Glean from that what you need to take from that. The only way is to more than protest. It's a system that it does not need modification, it does not need reform, it needs destruction. The question is, who is willing to go beyond protest and deal with the repercussions, because there are a lot, and as we've seen in history, many have died doing that. So yeah, that's why I call it hopeless. And we see the same kind of, they talked about all the tactics used in slavery, how they would kill the slave or punish them in evil, dehumanizing ways to kind of send out a message to everybody else that stay in line, stay the fuck in line. Still do it to this day. But what does this mean for Barbados? What I wanted to get into really and truly was government and reparations. This is going to be my final point, and then getting cooked little food here. It's just a privilege. And probably bake some chicken, and cook up some rice, maybe saute that with some onion and thing. But yeah, so let's talk about reparations. And this is to my point of the system consistently reforming, going back to how slavery has been reformed to capitalism. I believe that reparations using the tools of capitalism is not reparations for black people, because capitalism is about exploitation, right? We got that. Somebody needs to be exploited, right? It don't matter what it is, somebody gotta be poor. Somebody gotta get the short end of the stick. It don't matter. That's the only way for capitalism to work. Cannot be even distribution of wealth. Cannot be. The company that I worked at before, so who know, in capitalism, the capitalist, the person who has the control, the organization that got the control, they try to take as much from you as possible in order to produce for you to buy, which is ironic. It's crazy, actually. It's what? But they try to, at all steps, at all levels, minimize how much it takes to produce something so that they then can make more money. You understand? So for example, when I was working at where I was working before I left, for one, I was in marketing, and marketing was more like sales. And it was sales in that everything was price. Every fucking thing was price. We not making much money, raise the price. Okay, but we giving more value. Listen, keep raising that motherfucker, people gonna come. 1, 2. Then it was about reducing benefits. So a lot of benefits that we first started getting just slowly reduced. Alright. When I got there, for example, everybody was wearing uniforms. When I got there, them was done with that. And I was like, we ain't printing no more of them bitches. You just come and wear the work clothes. Then to find out after the fact, and I wonder if this person listening, I don't even know if they're still there, but to find out after the fact, when I left, and also my co-worker left, they then hired someone. And by the way, when we were working, we always felt overworked. We always felt like there was always too much to do. When we left, and this is as individuals with our own tasks, when we left, someone else was hired, and they were the only person that was hired in the wake of the two of us leaving. And then the tasks that the two of us had, was then put onto this one person. And then after that, them was paid just as much as one person, less than one person. Exploitative, musty as raw soul, bare cunt. I'm using all the words. Real raw soul shite. Real shite. And that is what capitalism is. It's gonna try to reduce in order to make more and more and more and more. Somebody gotta get exploited. And that's slavery, really and truly. It's slavery except that they decide to get a little bit more and feel a little bit better. Get rights, get this, get that, right? Or I shouldn't say it's slavery. It is the essence of what slavery is about. It is the backbone, is the theoretical backbone of it all. Exploitation is a framework of it. Both systems is the same shit. So then where does reparations come into this? Well, if we can't agree and we accept the fact that capitalism is about exploitation, when they go and they give us money, if that's, it seems like it's going to be money seems to be like what everybody is more interested in. If they do that, that's just another fucking amount that they can exploit. Because the other side of capitalism, what they, for whatever reason, no, not for whatever reason, again, the pen is stronger than, mightier than, the pen is mightier than the sword. So they are going to frame capitalism as what puts what kind of continues to develop society or whatever, right? It's up to these companies. Them is the ones that do it. But they never frame the fact that these companies depend on you to be a consumer, a customer, somebody who's spending money. You give us the money to then spend the money, to give you the money to then give us the money to spend the money. We are an important factor. It doesn't work without us and us having money, right? We need to have the money to then give them. So we create these companies. We continue to develop these companies. We are the ones who are putting the funds into the companies. Understand? So if that is the tool, then all the fuck them can do is take more of the money that you now get. That's all that can happen. That's all that can happen. If we can accept and understand, it's about exploitation. That's all it about. It's about exploitation. Somebody gotta get exploited, and the somebody can be the people that ain't at the top of the organization. So you get this money, they can just try to figure out how to take it back from you. And they might do it under the government supervision. Because once again, not even once again, let's really try to understand, using that radical mindset of questioning everything. What the fuck is money? What the fuck is money? Because physically, I was looking for my purse, man, I don't know where that is. Physically, it's just a piece of metal or it's just a piece of paper. But then is a symbol of worth. It has a value, and it is a value that is arbitrary. Now people, economists, and I'm sure there's a science to it, absolutely. There's a science to how the value changes constantly. It seems to be one thing, then is another, then is another, then is this, then is that causes the changes. 1 minute a dollar could buy you 4 minutes, next minute it only buy you one. They can tell you it's inflation, can tell you it's this, it can tell you that. It can always be an explanation for why the value has changed. So why don't you think that if we used to get all this money, all of a sudden the value ain't gonna change? You do not think that they have the power to then change the fucking value, but it arbitrary. It's changed any day, anyhow, whenever it feel like. But there's a science to it, apparently. I mean, I don't doubt it. I do not doubt that numbers is add up and what's not. But you can't sit down here and tell me at the same time that the ones who made the rules won't change the rules in order to get back what they pay for. It must always be in circulation, always be in circulation. So you get that money, you can, let me tell you something, it can be gone. It can be gone. And all we cannot live in the heights. All 280,000 Barbadians cannot live in the heights. Ain't enough room. Ain't enough food. Ain't enough water. Ain't enough clothes, ain't enough vehicles, ain't enough nothing. Oh, we cannot live in the heights. So something got to happen. Something got to happen. So just off of that, somebody might say, okay, put it in education, put it in this, put it in that. But look though, I get educated, formally educated in Barbados, and where is I in another country putting my money into that economy? Cause what ain't got land for me in Barbados? We had this conversation already. Ain't had shit for me in Barbados to do but clean a hotel or walk down Nelson Street. Pick a struggle one be fucking too. But one thing it ain't gonna do is help you if you stay both there. Because as I said, Barbados is a place for hand-me-downs. It's just a place for hand-me-downs. There's not gonna be, let me not. What I will say is that there is no chapter in the future of history. I said it, god damn it. There is no chapter in the future of history in which Barbados develops. Now you might say, well, look at Guyana with the oil situation and how their society is developing, but also look where the US is. Oh man, then pull up. Listen, we want peace, are we telling? So again, the name of the game is exploitation. Somebody can exploit something. It can get beyond a certain threshold. And I do believe that this is by design. Truthfully, I do believe that this is by design. It is by design that Barbados has a tourist industry. And you could sit down and you could argue with the government over and over, please, beg, let's look at this, let's look at that, let's look at the next thing. Don't matter, it can always be tourism because of what that plays for first world countries, what role that serves. You know, it's always going to be foreign investment, always, because they get a piece of the pie. Barbados has just always been that. So in terms of reparations, I don't believe that reparations, using the tools of capitalism, is going to do anything for black people. I genuinely do not, especially in Barbados. I'm speaking about Barbados, but I think that this could be just to any group of people. I think I read years ago that like indigenous people in Canada, they get some kind of like free gas or some kind of subsidy or something like that as reparations. And it's like, okay. Not no line. You know, don't give me it back. I was the first one here, you kill me off. Give me free gas. Give me gas vouchers. So that too, it to me, it is a slap in the face. It's a slap in the face because, for one, like I said, we all cannot live in the heights. Alright? So we get all this money, we still can't live in the heights. They gonna raise the prices one or two we might move in, and then the prices gone up. Price gone up. But even before that, even before prices could go up, who's to say anything can be for sale? You can't sell. You can't buy what already bought. So if all the prime land belonged to Henry and Britain and Gratilda in fucking Germany, and co on every cunt, call man, we could put 2 billion together. We can't buy one shit when Cole said, listen, I'm selling this though. So if the line is his, and the line is Gratilda's, and the line is Timothy one, and the line is this person, and Henry and Joseph, if the line belong to all of them, we just got money to spend on Shafet and Jordan's. So I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. I just do not know. I don't believe money is the issue. Money is not the issue, because money is just the value of it is constantly changing. It's an unreliable source. You can't rely on money. You just can't. You cannot rely on money. Like I said, people say put it in education, but Barbados, unless Barbados decide to go into another industry, what are they gonna do for us? I guess they're gonna build a school of butlers and maids, and then we could be better at creating the fantasy for people from England and people from Europe that they still living in slave times when they come here to visit. You know, rent a little bell butler. And we all running to serve. So yeah, to me that's just dead. To me, reparations is not something to be given. It's something to be taken. Reparations is not something to be given, but something to be taken. Taking the means of production, taking the fucking land, taking whatever. Because without that, money unreliable. Money is unreliable. So to me, it just pours into the same situation. Reparations, Palestine, the first world countries, all that shit. It is a dismantling of the systems that we live under. That's the only way for us to get justice. We can't sit down here and wait on anybody to give it, because they're not do it. This nigga said pause. We not gonna cease fire, we gonna pause. We need to go back to the drawing board. Let's go. Let's try to figure this out. Oh man, my poor Barbadians gonna eat chicken steppers, boy. Man gonna eat chicken steppers tonight, boy. Shafet roll, he's getting small, the price getting bigger. Shite. Let me tell y'all something, it ain't getting no better. This shit is a system that implodes. It implodes. It's coming. It's here. It is here. And now that the propaganda machine is not working, listen, it's here. So I think what I would like to sign off on is A quote from Noam Chomsky. Yeah, I don't even know if he quoted somebody else. But word for word, not sure. But he said, violence is to fascism what the media is to democracy. So violence is to fascism what the media is to democracy. And I think all that just means that democracy is fascism with a bow on it. Fascism is, she don't waste no time. She just quit to get the job done. She has no interests in smiling up in anybody's face. And yeah, she will cut your throat to get what she wants. Democracy is the exact same shit, getting what it wants, but through manipulation, through language. The pen is mightier than the sword. That's all I got. Ain't got no more.